Hello friends, welcome to our another discussion on AIS platform, and today's discussion is about one of the most burning subject in today's life among many of us. What is spirituality and why the need of to understand spirituality is becoming a more strong urge among many of us, and how we can understand that what path, what journey can help me to really understand about spirituality. So, first of all, what spirituality mean? Spirituality mean, in a simple word, the desire to know about truth. And one will ask now that, okay, hang on, what is truth? Truth means the reality. And reality for whom? Reality for us, human being, that what is the purpose of our life. And purpose of our life is, as it comes up in all our spiritual text, whatever spiritual text one read, that we are human beings, or we are those souls which are disconnected from our true home, or we are the souls which are lost in this creation and not able to find my higher self. So to that higher self, some will call God, someone will say spirit, some might say Paramatma. So different words one can use to make that connection from where every soul has come. So that is the true source of that soul. So if anyone is having that craving, that urge to know about its source, it is natural. Every soul at some stage will start having that urge to find its true home, to find its source from where it comes. And that is the simple meaning of that spirituality, that journey, that understanding, that path, which can give you the real meaning and as well as show you that how we can be on that path to ultimate merge with our source. But now this spirituality world again has been so widely used by various sectors that it seems like that someone is selling spirituality and I can go to him or her and buy that. Or someone might say that, okay, I can start making some changes. First of all, the change will come by changing the color of your clothes. Or someone might say that I can change my diet, and that will help me to become more spiritual. And if we talk about from Vedic philosophy, because that is where Ayurveda, yoga, meditation, these components come from. And these all components at some stage in their teachings talk about a spiritual component. And hence many of us who are associated with yoga, Ayurveda, naturally start talking about spirituality. And many, in fact, start thinking that by doing yoga I am becoming spiritual. Or by practicing Ayurveda I am becoming spiritual. But sad part is, it is not the reality at all, whether we accept it or not accept it. Because it's very difficult sometimes to take a bitter pill. And the reason of that is that if someone thinks that I am practicing yoga and then their lifestyle, then their thoughts, then their diet is the same what they were doing before getting into yoga. What I mean is to add to their body all such substances which are dark, which are cloudy, which in Vedic philosophy we call as tamas, food, tamasic thoughts, tamasic action, tamasic deed. And then if someone will say that I am better than tamasic state, they might be into rajasic state. So these are the first fundamental principle of being on the path of spirituality. And what is the fundamental path, fundamental principle? Is that to be on the path of spirituality, one need to be a good human being. And reason of this is because what our all teachings tell us, that we get this human life after all the sufferings what our soul has gone through after coming in this creation, getting separated from our real source or God or Paramatma or Spirit, whatever way you want to understand it. And then, because human beings are different from all the creations in this universe, because human beings has a one component what is different from animals or any other existence in this creation, what we call as buddhi. Buddhi is your intellect, vivek, your ability to discriminate. And what we need to discriminate? We need to discriminate between truth and fantasies. Fantasies are where when we are in this creation and get lured with all our senses. We have 5 senses, and those 5 senses will take us and have that pull towards one sense or the other. And under the influence of those senses, we will make wrong choices, what we call as mistake of intellect. And whenever we make mistake of intellect, it means we are adding another layer of karma. Karma means our action. And those karmas layer, where they go? They go on our soul, on our conscious. And more those layers on our soul who actually seeking that truth, who is actually want to merge with its father or whatever you want to call it, but how it will even start thinking when we are putting those dark layers all the time, every day. And that is the reason that not everyone will be ever even in a position to think of merging with its original source, its ultimate source. So, by having this basic understanding that we should be very, very thankful and we are very fortunate that we got this human life. And then on top of that, we are very fortunate that there is some kind of craving, some kind of urge is coming up inside us to know about spirituality, know about my source, from where I come from. And now that craving, that desire to learn about my source is the first spark inside that human being towards that journey. But once the spark has come up as an individual, then we have to look at that what groundwork I need to do. And to do that groundwork, first component of that is to become a good human being. Now, to become a good human being, what are the parameters of a good human being? Again, these parameters are not set by an individual. These are universal parameters and they will be applicable to everyone wherever we live, wherever or whatever caste, creed, religion we are into. Because these caste, creed, religions, they are all man-made. They are not made by that creator with whom we want to merge. Creator is only looking towards our soul. Because soul is the one which ultimately has to merge with his original source. This body is only a covering which has been acquired by that soul to experience this whole creation. But being in this body, the soul is then guided or experiencing all that good and bad which are being done by our five senses and then five action organs, and these are all guided force by mind, which again is given to soul to be protected, to be guided and to work under its orders or whatever you can say, so that soul can experience and get protected, not get indulged into this creation. So that's the basic part for us to understand. Now comes up that once I know the basics, and basics again, as I shared, cannot be created by myself or by anyone else. These are the truth. These are the reality, facts, you can say, which has been given to us in our all the spiritual text. And when I say spiritual text, again these are not something can be written by an individual. These are the unwritten guidance or those directions, those facts, which again are the parameter set by that higher self, that higher spirit, God or Paramatma, to merge with Him. He has given those guidelines. And the first guideline is that you need to take all those coverings out what are coming up on our soul. And those coverings again are not just on that soul from this life. We never know how many lives we are suffering in this creation. But when we are in this human life now, human body, and we got that craving to think of Him, that higher self, is actually an indicator that somehow those coverings on that soul are getting minimum due to whatever reason, means your own actions and deed might have led you to that level that you start having that spark inside. That spark is always there, but because we are covered with those dark layers, that the spark cannot be seen. And when the spark is not able to get seen, that will never create that will never ignite that desire to know about the source. Hence, that is first thing. But then, second part comes up, that we should be a good human being. Reason why we should be a good human being, so that we don't add more layers. We don't pull the soul further down under that burden of darkness. So how that can happen? For that, one need to look at their day-to-day life. First of all, look at your thoughts. Because thoughts are ultimately will become action. And those thoughts, in relation to wherever we are, in whatever position we are, those will ultimately turn into those kind of action. Hence, my thoughts need to be very clear. And that also consider in Vedic philosophy as your dharma. And your dharma, first of all, start at the time of your birth, because when we came into this creation, we came into this creation due to the action of my father and mother. Hence, my biggest dharma is to respect them, to look after them when they are not able to look after themselves. Because again, every human being, white, black, blue, whatever you call it, everyone came from their mother and father, and everyone's mother and father has put effort to make us capable to be in this universe, in this creation. Whether there are some good effect or some bad effect, we never need to judge, because we are not capable of judging, and especially to those who have given birth to me. And then, when we are now in that position that we should be having our responsibility towards our parents, so that they can be looked after. I need to sit every day and ask myself, am I fulfilling that responsibility? When they need me, am I there for them? If I'm thinking that I'm very busy in my day-to-day life all the time, and then whenever I found some time, then rather than spending that time with my wife or with my children, which again is, I'm not saying that those are not your responsibility, but they are secondary responsibility. Your primary responsibility is when your mother and father, and if you are fortunate enough that they are alive and they are around you, that you spend as much as time with them. Whatever time you are able to get, first priority is to spend time with them, so that you don't regret when one day they leave. And by with them, being with them, spending some time, what you are doing is, you actually getting benefit for yourself only, because you are burning those many layers of karmas which are on our soul. Hence, this is one thing every one of us need to look at and look around us. Many of us will have so many of such emotions which we call as suppressed emotion, where they will only have the memory that my father has abused me, my mother has abused me. And when we talk about that, what abuse was that, they were having a thought that they were always very strict, they were always guiding me, they were always supporting me, they were always stopping me from doing this and that. And without even understanding that parents have their own way to raise children, you might say good or you might say bad, but then bottom line is that they were always having one prime object, that you as an individual should have a good life, stable life. You become something that so that you can make your earning, because that is the second part of our helping to burn so many coverings from our soul. And then after the parent, then yes, it comes up your responsibility towards your husband or wife, and then if you have children, then again the same cycle comes up. So that is the first part to becoming a good human being. And again, this parameter is not different to anyone. We must sit every day and think, am I able to tick this part, that I am doing my duties in a correct way? Then comes up that what I am feeding to my body. Because when we are talking about spirituality, as I mentioned, to know about your truth, and what the truth for everyone is the same, that we are the source of that higher creator. And where that higher creator is, we always say that higher creator is somewhere high, but we need to find what is the pathway, what is the journey, where the starting point, where is the airport where I can board the plane to meet him. That is nowhere else but in your own body. This is why we call our living body as temple of that God, temple of a creator. All our these temple, churches or different other places, mosques, they are again human made. The actual temple created by him is our human body. And after creating this human creation, he himself placed himself inside the body. Now, question is, how I will find him inside? If he is inside, why I cannot see him all the time? Reason is that journey is starting upward from where it starts, where the end of our 5 senses and 5 motor organs limit finish. And that limit get finished at this place, what we call as our third eye part. Now again, in different language, this has been described in a different way, but this is what your ultimate pathway is, ultimate airport is, from where your higher journey has to start. But to reach there, what one need to do? We need to do cleaning part, because in that process there is so much garbage we have added into this body. And how we add that? Again, through our thoughts, through our deed, and through our food, which you are trying to use as a fuel to keep this body going. Now that fuel, if it is incompatible to your body, because why it will be incompatible? If you are creating and selecting such kind of fuel which will create so much of garbage inside, how that can be compatible to your that body, that living temple where that ultimate creator is sitting, and you are making some groundwork to meet him. So hence, if your food, what we call as, are more of stimulant and more of dark nature, they definitely not compatible to your body, especially when you are looking for your spiritual journey. In the same way, your thoughts need to be taken care of. And when I say thought, again, all such thoughts which can be stimulating, such as your jealous, hatred, anger, all are such kind of thoughts which only will burn your inner body. And if you are burning, you are creating fire inside, then you will be again ruining your pathway to reach to your ultimate airport, where you can take the flight. So that's the groundwork for you to do. And again, working towards the spiritual path or spiritual journey, we start looking at that. I have found the path by just working on my kundalini, and I can awaken my kundalini, and then I will ultimately become spiritual. Reality is, with full respect to those people who trying to be on those paths, that when you are trying to work that, what we say kundalini, which is the reality, it's not a fantasy, it's not something one can make it. But what for you are trying to awaken your kundalini? Your ultimate thought is that I want to use that pathway to be on the higher self, to be on there. But then why don't we understand that when you are starting from the base, if you are not doing cleaning there, how you can start your journey? So again, those who are into these practices, And if they look at their lifestyle, look at their diet, if it is nowhere near to that clean process, to whom you are making fool? No one, only to yourself. And that is the same goes with the many yogic, so-called current days yogis, who only talk about hatred, who only talk about jealous, who only talk about greed, who only talk about acquiring. These kind of thoughts will never let such people to have even a peak of what you call as toward the spiritual journey. And I'm not a judge. I am having no ability to judge anyone. But these are the fact. So what I'm sharing is the fact that these are the groundwork which one need to do before what we can do, what is in our hand. This is another part of that spiritual components we talk about. That we only have one ability to start making our preparations. Now, for example, you all want to go for holidays at the end of the year, and I'm sure all of you will agree that you start planning for that journey wherever you are going 6, 7, 8 months before. Whether to what I should take, what kind of climate is there, what sort of clothes I have to do it, what kind of plane I need to take, what kind of bus I need to take, what kind of taxi I need to take, and how much it will cost me, how many days I'm going to stay there, all that part. But then for our bigger journey, on our spiritual journey, which we all want to seek and want to reach our destination, we never make any preparation. We never even try to look at that how far this destination is, how I'm going to be there, what are the groundworks I need to do. And that is where this whole journey, whole pathway is something we have to prepare for. And for that, the few facts which I'm sharing are the realities. And that's one should look for. Then comes another one. Can I do this journey myself? Never. Again, if you again look at your different aspect, you want to study something, you want to learn about some subject, what you do? Your journey starts from primary school, then you go to high school, then you go to universities, and keep learning your subject, and your teachers will be different. Because at each level, the capability, the knowledge of that teacher will be different. And that teacher need to have experienced or have completed that level of subject learning what he or she is now trying to teach us. So how come it can be different when we are trying to learn about a subject which is reality of my life, which is the ultimate goal of my life, which is even you can say the PhD of your real life. And to have that PhD qualification, you think that you can do yourself. You don't need any mentor, you don't need any guide, you don't need any teacher. That is where your first downfall starts. Any one of us think that this spiritual journey or spirituality can be achieved by myself, by just reading the books or doing certain different kind of aspect. I can be on that path. what we are doing is we are wasting our energy. But then what is the reality? Reality is we need a master. We need a teacher. And now what is the qualification of that teacher? Simple qualification, simple part what you are looking in that master, that he or she himself must have acquired that degree, must have experienced, be on that plane and have completed the journey, have seen all the obstacles, all the different steps or places what comes up in that journey, and he should be capable of giving us all that guidance and brief before taking off. And now question comes up where we will find that teacher. Again, we don't have the ability and capability to find that master. That master will always appear before we become even capable of on that journey, because he is always watching us. He is watching every soul. When I say us means not this physical body, because ultimately this physical body we all have to leave here. Only the soul is the one who is going to do that journey. So he knows all those souls which will be taking that flight, and in that flight how many souls will be there, that is all his will and his desire, and how that plane will take off, he knows everything. But what is another parameter which we can think of that he is the right master? One thing we need to always look at, all those masters who are a real source from that higher self, who have completed that journey, who have merged with him, they never talk about anything else in their discussion, in their discourses, other than guiding us, making us understand that what is our ultimate purpose of this life, how we can break these shackles of death and birth, how we can clean ourselves from all these dirty desires and all those suppressed emotions and all the shackles what is pulling us down in this creation. They will only talk about that. They will never talk about that you are a Christian, you are a Hindu, you are a Sikh, you are a Muslim. Those aspects not in their dictionary. They only talk about that let's go our ultimate home, but for that they give us some guidelines. They give us those guidelines which I shared with you. First is to be a good human being, to make sure we keep doing that cleaning, and that cleaning is in our hand through our right thoughts, right actions, right deed, and those right deeds, action, thoughts are again cannot be set by myself that these are the right things. They are again universal truth, reality for everyone, wherever you are, in Italy, India, Pakistan, Dubai, New Zealand, Australia, USA, anywhere. Those realities are realities. And those realities does not come up any clear, any closer to us if I will say that I am an Ayurvedic practitioner or a yoga practitioner or a meditation teacher. Those are, yes, they are actual groundwork component. If you are a good Ayurvedic practitioner, what is your parameter that you should be good? You should be practicing in a right way. And what is right way? That your focus is to heal or help to get heal your client who comes to your clinic. And how you will do that? You cannot do that by just reading one book on Ayurveda or just by visiting India a few times, because so far we all accept that Ayurveda originates from India. Ayurveda is actually giving you that foundation to be on that path where you can actually clean your that soul from all that dark covering. But that will only come out if you want to become a good Ayurvedic practitioner. You should have a good study, and that study must complete all the components which will make you a confident practitioner, so that you can help people not just by knowing few herbs and then few products and then having a good marketing skill does not let you become a good, because what you are doing is then you are creating more and more layers on your soul. In the same way, when we talk about yoga and meditation, yes, these are our again those foundation which actually help us to clean ourselves. But yoga again cannot be just done as a part of our asanas, my legs up and down or sideways. We have to understand the complete philosophy of yoga, understand the 8 limbs, follow every moment, every breath of my yama and niyama. And if I can sit in front of the mirror and look into the mirror and ask that is every yam and niyam are being followed by myself if I'm a yoga practitioner. In the same way, meditation practitioner. And again, when we talk about meditation, I'm not talking about the one of the component of the spirituality is also meditation. And that is where another illusion we all have, that I am doing meditation, it means I am on the spiritual path. No way. Meditation does not mean by sitting cross-legged or on a chair and closing your eyes or listening to the music. These are nowhere near to that higher level of meditation which will help us to be on that plane. So these are only groundworks. This is what we call as, when you are trying to do certain right things through these different philosophies, what you are doing is you are getting to that stage of self-realization. Because God realization is neither in your capability or neither in any individual's capability unless we are guided by that master who himself has that God realization already. And to be with him, to be with that master, what we need to do is do our groundwork of self-realization. And self-realization is your first step where you are in your life. So every day what we all need to do, if we have not done earlier, start cleaning our pot. Pot means in which you are looking for, which you are seeking that grace from the higher self. And what is grace? That he can take me in his lap. And he will only take me in his lap when I'm keeping myself clean. If I'm dirty, even my mother will never pick me if I'm dirty. First of all, he will take me under tap, and no much how much we are crying, he will clean us. Same is that pathway. That higher self is looking to grab us and take in his lap. but He knows how much dirty we are. And He has given us the opportunity that we can scrap our dirt ourselves. Otherwise, when He is going to come and clean our dirt, it will be a little bit more hard. Hence, we all should make every day from today onward, if we want to be on that path of spirituality, or if we want to be with Him, we want to learn about that truth, that we start making every moment, every step to evaluate my thoughts, my actions, my deed in my day-to-day life. And if I can give myself an honest tick on all those aspects, then I can say that I am on that journey. And this is not something can be achieved in a one day. This is lifelong journey. Every moment I need to keep myself on that path and seeking His grace, that I should not divert from my path, and that is the first step. So let's start that journey. If we have not started before, this is the moment that we can be on that journey, so we don't miss that plane. One day He will definitely take us on His plane, and we will enjoy, we will merge with Him. But for that, groundwork is something in our hand. And groundwork's basic part is to be a good human being. And good human being is, again, as I explained, every day we need to analyze that what my deeds are, what my thoughts are, what my actions are, and make sure don't feed your body with any such things which only pull you down. Thanks everyone. We'll catch up next time.